Right, off we go.
Right, so Mark, can you press record your end as well? Oh, Mark, you can plug in your mic now.
I'm so frightened of these things.
Right, here we go.
I've got this terrible fear that that I'm going to cause a nuclear explosion.
Right, here we go.
Especially in this heat. Andy Burnham was pretty clear. You won't have seen it because you're in Spain. But we've got to all get behind and not like barbecues. That's what we've got to do. And I'm very happy to be doing things for the country. But if you're going to like barbecues, then then there's nothing much I can do. So I'm getting there. That's probably a little bit savvy, wasn't it?
I was about to say, your Andy Burnham started off. Mark, I'm going to talk you through that. My internal monologue went, well, of course, Mark Steele has got a perfect Burnham already. And then it went, shawaddy waddy.
Did. I don't know what. If I can fix it for you to take down the bus fares, you see, across Leeds. And then, young lady, you will be able to travel for free to come and see your Uncle Jim. Number 10 North.
We have a letter here from Angela R. that says, could you fix it for me? I'd like to apologise to all our listeners for starting off with some Savile gear.
Well, this was all because we should tell people this is all of a marvellous moment where, for the first time in my life, there was a technological problem that wasn't down to me. And then once you start going into audio settings, recalibrate your downloading test MacBook Air speakers module, scroll down to sort of regurgitate mode, take away the initializing processing MacBook dungaree momentum setting, and then turn it just to the left, and then and get a hammer and just smash a hole in the wall, and that should do it.
And then, listener, you're going to love this. What happened was, Mark, I can't remember which movie it was. I think it's one of the airport movies from the 70s where the stewardess has to be taught how to land the plane, right?
Yeah.
But the twist was the stewardess, who is Mark in this instance, was completely blameless, and it was completely so I'm there going to Mark, oh, can you see, right, if you just drag that down, and then if you select, and it turns out old Muggins here, there's a little button on my mic, and if you so much as breathe on it, it mutes the microphone.
So now the fault there, it's not, I'm going to defend it. The fault is not you. Why do things that exist in order to make a noise have a fucking mute button on them? That's what they're for, is to make it. If you have a mute button, I used to do a bit about this in my act. It's like having a saucepan with a no bottom in it option for when you want to pour stuff straight onto the floor. It just takes away the whole purpose of the fucking thing.
That is so, on some warm-ups, I get given a mic, and I've got to keep a it's a certain type of is it WYSIWYG? It's not, can't be called that, but there's a certain mic, and you have to keep the button pressed while you're talking. The amount of times I've been warming up, and the sound guy's going, and I've not pressed the button so they can hear me.
You've got enough to think about as it is. I'm just back from Edinburgh, incidentally. That's just to give the people some context. 30 minutes ago, as we sit here, I've just come in from 2 weeks at the Edinburgh Festival. And so I'm a little bit discombobulated. But anyway, Elliot still, that some people will know, he's left his mark in the 2 weeks while I've been away. There's no plants have been watered. 3 of them are just totally dead. There's rubbish everywhere. Anyway, I feel a little bit like like a war reporter trying to report from the middle of a load of rubble, because I think your average war reporter reporting from the Donetsk region is probably in an area that's quite calm and sedate and easy to navigate compared to the debris that I'm sat in. Anyway.
I'm so sorry. I told you before that my wife is the Harold Shipman of the plant world, and it's nice that she's got a kindred spirit in Elliot.
Yeah. Well, Well, Elliot's the Harold Shipman. Well, he's not even the Harold Shipman, because at least he was doing it on purpose. You couldn't knock Harold for competence, could you? But And he's just done it out of neglect. If he was Harold Shipman, he'd have just take the money from the NHS and then just fuck off for 3 weeks and then come back. 9 of your patients have expired. They just had no water.
How did Edinburgh go, Mark?
Yeah, well, it was great. I shall furnish for the last time. I shall furnish you with my little joke that I was doing at the start of the show. Was I got there, one of the first posters I saw when I got there was this is for people who don't know, the Edinburgh Festival, thousands of shows, lots of them brilliant, imaginative, and then daft ones. And there was the first one I saw was for a nude magic show. And I would start the show every night by going, people have been demanding this, because so often you see a magic show and you get home and you go, well, the tricks were all right, but you couldn't see his knob. And that spoilt it for me.
Paul Daniels would have been so different. There'd still been a little wig down there. Sorry, more 80s references here. But Mark, it all went well. I mean, you're quite synonymous with Edinburgh, surely. In fact,
well, yeah.
How many Edinburghs have you done?
Oh, I don't know. Probably 30.
Oh my!
I don't know. Maybe 25. I don't know. No, not 30. Probably more like 20. Certainly more than 20. But my show this year was on at 4:45 in the afternoon, and I was saying, like, my audience has now got so old. I have to do a show at that time, because otherwise people would go, well, we would come along, but we turn in at 7:15. To be honest with you, Mark. And dares to get up here have been no favour to my hips.
You are being typically self-deprecating. You do have we've talked about this before. You have a rich mix, don't you? Your demographic is all ages, all backgrounds.
Yeah. I mean, some of them are as young as 68, and then
Mark and Daniel O'Donnell.
Yeah, more like Val Doonican, me, really.
Sorry, too modern.
He died 25 years ago.
Too modern with O'Donnell there. And also, if you're seeing the video, if we do a video version of this, or if we share a clip, the reason I'm the same colour as an actual Oompa Loompa.
You've got the same colour as him.
Whatever this is, I deserve it, because
You're the same colour as his original melon. While I've been away, Elliot has been so good at clearing up. Look at that.
If you can see this, you should see this. It's quite an insult he's given me there, because that is a rotten melon.
No, you're the colour that the melon was to start with.
Yeah.
Let's see if the next Palace strip can replicate. And in years to come, people go, do you remember the year of the rotten melon strip?
Remember Mark Steele's Rotten Melon? Oh, yeah. 26, 27. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. So I'm on, as we said in the pilot episode, we were a bit like, just bear with us for the first couple. And that is true. Mark, to be fair, he's back. He's back in the motherland. I'm still abroad I'm on international duty with the Nippers. So I literally got out of the sea to do this podcast. So I've put my Palace, I put on a Palace training top. Oh my God. I'm not saying it's too tight and because I'm covered in seawater, but I will have to be cut out of this training top.
I'm embarrassed to admit. Cut out of it anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be buried in it. So Mark,
this does what lead on to the first discussion we could have, really.
Yeah,
which is for younger people, bear with us, and God knows what we sound like. But in the days of old, when you were on holiday and the football season started, or if you went away in May and it hadn't ended, although I can't, why would you do that? Then that was really tricky, wasn't it, to find out the scores? And not that long ago. I mean, 30 years ago, but no, we're not talking about the days when we were playing. It's the quarterfinal against the Royal Engineers, not that long ago. And you just got, I remember walking round and round a seaside town in Spain, trying to find an English newspaper to see if I could find out how we'd got on against Derby County, I think it was.
It was literally that. And also, they might have missed that print, so it might be a first edition of that newspaper.
Yeah.
So it might even be the day. Honestly, it might be the day after. I mean, it's It's preposterous. This is another 80s reference. Was it Team Talk that you used to phone, and it would cost God knows? But you might have to. you'd get like Team Talk in the back of Shoot or Match magazine, and you dial in for the latest team news or what have you. So, I mean, you kids with your internet, you don't know you're born.
Well, 20 years ago, you had a thing where it pings, didn't it? I remember being in Norway one December on a sort of family thing, and then the phone kept pinging, and every time it pinged, it meant that someone had scored. So it was a bit like Jeff Stelling with his, there's been a goal, but which way's it gone? This is the real double drama you've got now. Someone scored. Is it us? Or is it Huddersfield? And
so true. By the way, tangent, in the history of sports broadcasters, Stelling, easy top 10, surely.
It's great fun, isn't it? I love his idea. But that's cruel when he used to do that.
Awful.
Which way is it gone?
Which way is it gone? Cammy, let's find out. And Cammy, bless him's facing the wrong way or whatever.
I remember on my What the F podcast once, me and Elliot were on there talking about Farningham Woods, which was the woods at the back of where I was brought up in Swanley, and there was they used to have illegal dog fighting there, and I think still do. And I said they should put that on Sky Sports News. Elliot just straight away did Jeff Stelling going, "There's been a morning at Farningham Woods, but which way's it gone?"
Bad news if you're fans of Bonzo, look away now. We had a go at putting a running order together. The beautiful thing about Palace is there will never be a dull moment. We're never going to be shy of putting a running order together, Mark. I mean, maybe pre-season recap. How's about that? So it ended with that defeat in Freiburg. But what I would, to leap to the defence of Crystal Palace, like a lot of the top teams with players away at the World Cup, that was the first time that a lot of those guys have played, right?
Yes, I guess so. I mean, it's so cruel and instant, isn't it, the Premier League? It's like, in a way, it's the sort of... so when a new player comes in, 6 games in, if they haven't completely clicked, the fans are complaining, the manager starts to worry that it's all going to go wrong for him because this new player hasn't, in anything. If I was just put at the Edinburgh Festival with a show that I'd sort of worked out, and it was about the 6th night before I got it anywhere near what I think, oh no, I think I'm doing this about right. And I was playing myself in position. Yeah, I would have been. Well, the trouble is, he's been put in a juggling show, and it's not his natural position. It's not that. But yes, just no chance. And I feel like that even with Pino, who's been here now, obviously, for a whole season, and I can see people quite reasonably, it's just not working for us. But people who are impatient have got a sort of point, because anyone who's followed Palace for a long time knows that they have that feeling at the start of the season. Palace in the Premier League, there's no guarantee that we're going to survive. It only takes one rotten season, and we're going to be at Christmas panicking. There seems to be a bit more of that this year, but who knows? You just don't know. We really could be 5th at Christmas. It's not impossible.
That starting lineup against Freiburg, I'm on a Palace WhatsApp group, and I shared the team to the group. I was like, that's a good... I thought that looked like a really good... All right, I know we lost the match, but I thought that starting lineup and squad, I thought that looked really... I know I'm Johnny Positive and all that, but I thought that looked good.
Well, it should do. And there's lots of reasons why they're not going to be playing at their best. We had so many players in the World Cup, so they've not had any rest at all. I mean, when did the World Cup end? 3.5 weeks ago? The new manager, it's going to take a while, isn't it? And I don't know at what point you go, it's going to take a while. What point you go, the while has to be assessed up until now, really. I don't know. Do you think Palace fans are looking at it are a little bit worried here because we've had some bad pre-season?
I think so, because
the burr smell.
There does appear to be a waft of a bit of that, right? Because it was a real roller coaster of a pre-season in terms of results. in some of the games, you're looking for, as we said on the pilot, you're looking for some of those younger and up and comers to pop in a way that perhaps one or two didn't. I would say that Everton away, you're straight in it there. It's not like I know there's no such thing as an easy game, but it's not like it's some sort of home, not banker, but but Everton away, I remember what happened last season. I think it's a really good acid test, isn't it?
Yeah, that's difficult. I mean, and again, because you don't know where anyone is. It's like, a bit like last year at the start of the season. You might go, "Oh my God, we've lost to Sunderland. What a disaster!" And then it turns out that wasn't as much of a disaster as you might think, because Sunderland were a team that, quite rightly, was sort of like whatever it was, 10th, 11th that they finished. So you don't know. And with Everton, their expectations are quite high. That was the one where we lost our unbeaten record, wasn't it? When Grealish got us right at the end.
It was. I mean, that was brutal. Remember Grealish, very, very kind after the match. He got man of the match, and first thing he said was Adam Wharton was really the man. He's like, thank you, but really this belongs to Wharton. Look, I'm always the optimist. I think there's still enough quality for us to be okay. And also, but I think the thing is, Mark, we've won those 3 trophies. It's a different manager. We've lost, say, Lacroix. We've lost Lacroix, having lost Elise, Eze, Gay. It's just it's that feeling of the unknown, isn't it?
Yeah, but we still have players that are very, very top. We still have a number of players that are sought after by very top clubs. Munoz, Wharton, Henderson is, we're obviously biased, but I think we probably think it would be the England goalkeeper. They're very, very top players we've got, and we ought to be able to get off to a really good start. It might be more tricky once the European games come in, but I think that's, and I think given the sort of general way that the Palace fan base works, it's one that isn't going to panic after 3 games. Some people will, but I don't think we will be starting to yell at players and so on. God, we're already trying to work out what we do when we've lost the first 3 games. We're not going to. Side. And you can't really judge it on friendlies. You can't, when there's, where half the team gets substituted at half time, or all the team, and that you can't judge it on that.
Also, some of the goals that we scored were, they were proper brilliant goals. Really lovely team movement. Nketiah tucks one away. People calling it. Oh, is it Pierre Sage rather than Sage? Is that right?
Well, it's French, yes, Sage. It's French for wise.
Oh, stop it! Of course, Mark Steele knows that. So quite a few people were saying Sage ball. So some of the goals they look like proper goals. Now, Mark, we've already established we're both pretty positive guys. My slight worry is, and I've got no inside knowledge on this, but because we do appear to have, we've got Mingueza, the new Spanish lad, we've got the new lad from Israel, and then there's also potentially, is it Gozo, the lad from America? My concern is all 3 of those can play right wing back. Is the worry here? Are we losing Munoz?
Well, it must be possible. I mean, he's the thing is sort of, as fans, we know how brilliant Munoz was. I mean, I was sort of slightly surprised that we didn't have all people coming in for him after the FA Cup final, where he was officially man of the match. And he's someone that fans of other teams, when we played them quite often, either 2 or 3 times, blimey, that Munoz is
That
good.
is so true. That is so true. He's a guy, mate, you're wise. The amount of times when it's mates who support other teams, and that Munoz is often the one that gets picked out. And also, look, we all love watching football on television, but I used to say the same about Danny Butterfield. You have to see Palace live, genuinely, for certain players to be done justice. And when you see Munoz live, you just, and obviously the TV cameras can't pick this up. That guy is a human metronome. He's up, he's down, he's up, he's down, he's getting stuck in, he's he's like the patron saint of lost causes, because sometimes he's chasing after stuff and then he's tracking back. You don't always see that on telly. The amount of miles that Munoz must cover in a game,
I think he lost it a little bit. Obviously he got injured,
Yeah.
and that coincided with our bad spell and the sort of Glasner with his toys out of the pram and all that.
Yeah.
And then he never quite got it back. And then I thought, during the World Cup, the games I saw of Colombia, and he scored for them, and he was getting back to that being the metronome again. And I would imagine that must have alerted some teams who want something like that very modern player, isn't he? Very attacking right back. Not really someone we've had all that often. Even our best right, even Wan-Bissaka, he's not. He didn't score for us, Wan-Bissaka, brilliant as he was at right back. But Munoz scored. I don't know how many. He scored quite a few goals for us.
And he scored. Did he not score the goal that sort of? This is slightly over the top. The goal that might have kept Glasner in the job. Do you remember when Glasner was under pressure, and then he scores that goal, and Glasner runs down to the far corner?
Yeah.
I've not really seen, without getting too emotional, I've not seen a player like Munoz before. I think he's absolutely spectacular. And he's got such a big heart. My voice nearly cracked on on heart there. The fans love him. He's just, in that position as part of that team, he was just so perfect. Something Mark said.
In the second. Sorry.
No, I was going to say something you said a while ago. When people talk about who's the best Palace player in that position, or who's the best Palace player in that position, and you said something like, surely that team that won the FA Cup, you would have to argue that every single player who played in that particular position is the best to have ever played in that position.
Yeah, very close to that, I think. I mean, you could make the cut. So, definitely Ian Wright you would put in there. But apart from that, I don't know who can make a case for Salah or whatever. But I think that's right. I think that's certainly right with Munoz. And there was a few games towards the end of the season where he'd be running into his spaces. I can't remember who it was against, but there was one where he kept running into these spaces, and he was literally like a good player in a five-a-side team when there's someone who just won't pass to him, and he's like waving his arms and shouting. It was quite entertaining.
Was that? I think that might have been one of the knockout Conference League games. I could be wrong.
I think it was, yeah, I think it was. And I don't know why they weren't passing to him at that team. Well, but it did look like, from looking at it from above, why don't you ping one over to Munoz? And he was just the enthusiasm of him and that he must sort of bring is tremendous. But as you say, but we do. If we're going to be a team that's going to even half compete in the Europa League, then you've got to have someone very good who's going to come in when your main player isn't there. So it might not mean that we're going to lose Munoz, because it was difficult enough last year trying to keep everyone going and in the Conference League, but it's obviously going to be much tougher this year, isn't it?
I mean, look, guys, listeners, obviously hope that the new guys are back up so that, as Mark says, there's not a repeat of what happened last season. So the options are Mingueza, Anan Khalili. I apologise if I've mispronounced that. That's the new lad. The buzz around this guy is fantastic. Prepare to fall in love, and certainly comes across well from what I've seen on the videos and what have you. Do you always think the Palace? I always think whoever the Palace admins are that do those videos, I think they do such a fantastic job. I think they're brilliant.
Did you see the one of Wharton when he joined? When he went into the Clifton Arms?
Mate, I mean, that might be the number. That might be the best.
I went, how much?
How much? If you've not seen it, the gag is a northerner in South London discovering a London prize, and they get Wharton to react. I think it might be a lime and soda. Anyway, they get him to react to the price of this drink, and the punchline of the sketch is him in his beautiful Blackburn accent when he finds out the London price. How much? Yeah, whoever does the Palace socials and the videos and whatnot, I think they're fantastic.
Got the timing on that right though.
What do you mean?
He got the timing of it exactly right, and the look and everything. He acted it very well, I thought.
Mark, I think you've got me on something here. One of the many reasons I love Adam Wharton so much, I think he's I think he's really funny. I think he's naturally right. I'm going to sound northern. He is what my gran would call, any northerners listening, a cough drop. I think he's a bit of a cough drop. Cough drop is like cough drop is someone who's like naturally funny. That's what a cough drop is.
Right.
And I think Wharton's
yeah. No, I think he's got with his mum who sort of joins in with the one more year thing and loves having everybody sort of around her, and she's definitely got that. She's definitely got one of that. Well, I do this character sometimes, like a northern. I would say like a northern woman who sounds like she should be in a film in 1958. I know, reading the news in my show. Well, that Kenny Baird, she's no better than she should be. I tell her that for nothing but about a bird scratching. And she's got a bit of that about her.
Mate, I've got to tell you this. So my kids have met Wharton a few times, and I tell you what, the lad has got the patience of an actual saint. But he's such a nice lad. I think I might have said this on the previous episode. He's asking the girls how school's going, and like they both play football, and the youngest she's left-footed, and Wharton's left-footed. So then he's going to the youngest one, proper player, and brilliant. But his mum, just to underline how funny she is. So one of the times she was taking pictures of. By the way, I'm 48 years old. My wallpaper, if you can see that, is me and my kids with Adam Wharton as if he's like the fourth member of the family. Not even wife's not in the picture. But so I think Adam's mum took that picture, but she took some pictures of Adam and the girls. But what she was actually doing was taking selfies with my wife.
Brilliant.
How funny is that? So there's a lot of pictures on my phone, and instead she's like deliberately winding the girls up, and it's her with her arm around Mrs. Gill taking pictures.
Well, there is a point to all this, right? I had this sort of conversation. Well, Dougie much better than I do. I've met him a couple of times. I was talking to him a little bit after Ezzy had come, and he said that when he was trying to get Ezzy to agree to come here from Queen's Park Rangers, and it took a lot of effort. It was, as he was aware that he was someone who was going to be sought after. And he said, I became aware quite quickly, Doug. He said that it was really a matter of getting his mum. When I sort of went round the house, but I don't know how many times he went round there, that Ezzy was almost incidentally was sort of sat in the corner having a cup of tea or whatever. And it was Mrs. Ezzy that I had to convince. And I think that there's a certain psychological know-how that Dougie had that made him went a long way towards making him as brilliant as he was, because basically, the football coaches, the scouts, they know who's good and who's not good. Someone might spot something in someone that the others haven't spotted, but the real art is being able to get them to come to your club. If you're Manchester City, that's not very difficult. But if you're Palace, you've got to be able to convince people this is going to be the right place. And for all sorts of reasons, career progression and so on. And because it's going to be a place where he's not going to go off the rails, he's going to be looked after, whatever the reasons are. And I wonder with Adam Wharton, I would imagine that the fact that Mrs. Wharton feels as at home as she does, it must, am I talking rubbish here? I would have thought that must have had an influence in keeping him here.
I know, so Mark is right. It's such a name drop, isn't it? But only to Palace fans, but good pals with Dougie, and Dougie always, as Mark says, really put the hard yards in when it came to signing players, and would get to know the family. And I mean, for example, it's tricky because Dougie would tell us a lot of stuff that's private chat between friends, but just to echo what Mark is saying, with Dougie and Palace, it wasn't just going, would you like to sign for the club? Yes, please. Great. See you Monday. I mean, there was one player in particular, Dougie spent literal months getting to know the particular person. So there's that story about Bill. Was it Bill Shankly and Bob Paisley? I forget which player it is, but they go around to this player's house and they're chatting with the mum. And the mum goes, you might know this story. She goes, we're going to sleep on it. And Shankly goes, absolutely, of course. And then Bill Shankly and Bob Paisley sat in the car through the night, and then it got to 7 o'clock in the morning. They'd not slept, and they knocked on the door, and the mum answers, and Shankly goes, "Have you come to a decision yet?"
Sadly, on that occasion, the player's mum went, "Well, he was going to sign for you, but you're fucking mental. I've just watched the pair of you sat in the end of the drive in a bloody Ford Anglia all night. I'm not having him signing for you, you lunatics."
Your teeth are clearly chattering.
No, was it Keegan? Possibly, was it?
I think it might be. I think it might be. That might be Keegan. By the way, we must say, Mark, the pilot episode. We must thank you all. We did the pilot. Mark, what was great after the pilot? Mark was stroking his chin. He said something like, "I think we got something in this." And then what happened was we ended up getting into the top 50 for football podcast, which was some going, given it was, we basically did a post on Instagram, and I might have put it, I put it on the ABC newsletter, but it's not like we'd gone all out fanfare. So what we're saying is, to everyone that listened, we're really grateful, and long may it continue.
Especially as well, I can't speak for you, but as far as I'm concerned, I know nothing about football.
What, outside of Palace?
I watch the games, and then I listen to people say, "Oh, the trouble was, in the first sort of 25 minutes, when we were getting overrun in midfield, but then when he sort of came in a little bit more, and then at the start of the second half, and it helped that he was on a yellow card, so that meant he wasn't going with the tackle, so they brought him in to sort of play off him, and that left a space for him to go around the back." To me, that's like listening to some sort of military strategist talking about the first Punic Wars. Trouble is, you see, Hannibal, he left Carthage, you see, and he went up to something, and that left on the right flank, and then I went, "What the fuck are you on about?" I'll be quite honest, at that point, I was talking to the bloke next to me about whose tea it was, because we got confused. And it was...
Yeah, so the other person's going, and then when they switched to a false nine, and then on the overlap, the turnover turned into, and we're going, "Yeah, that second goal was a cracker, though, wasn't it?"
Who have you got? Who sits next to you? I've got some brilliant people behind me.
Yeah, well, it's often my kids, if I'm honest. But in terms of, Manchester City at home, I think it was 2 seasons ago, and this has become a catchphrase in the Gill house. And listeners, you probably remember it. De Bruyne, did we lose 6-2 or 5-2? It was a proper cracker, and we played really well. But De Bruyne got...
We went 1-0 up when Mateta scored, and then Grealish kept doing us over down.
It might have been that one, but De Bruyne got subbed off, and someone sat nearby, and he walked off slowly, and someone sat nearby shouted, and look, I'm well aware we mustn't body shame, and it's 2026, but nevertheless, this is what the person said, and their comedy timing was Adam Wharton-esque, and so he trudges off deliberately slowly, and someone near us shouted, "Oi, get off the pitch, fatty!" And it might be the most my kids have ever laughed at anything ever. And like, to this day, they will still bring up, "Oi, get off the pitch, fatty." Whoever that was, if you're not pursuing a career in stand-up comedy, maybe rethink.
My mate, Pat, very good old mate, who's a Spurs fan. So many times over the last 6 months, we've had a Brennan Johnson discussion. Pat said to me, well, he was, when he was good for us, he would do very little, and then he'd pop up and he would get a goal. He was their leading goal scorer one season. And he said one week, Brennan Johnson was sort of hobbling about, not doing much. And he said the bloke next to him shouted, really angry, went, "Johnson, for fuck's sake, all you ever do is score."
Now, we've got to...
Now, to be fair, I don't think we could really say that's the case when he's been with us.
No, but
he's done the hobbling about, not doing anything bit, very, very true to form, but he never really got round to the scoring bit, did he?
Well, we must address this, and I've got to say, huge fair play to Palace. because to call it after 6-7 months is, someone at the club has gone, guys, let's push the button on this one, because they could have given the money. They could have been more than forgiven for, no, come on, let's give it another couple of seasons. So I think for all parties, and I'm sure he's a lovely guy, and I'm not saying, it was the right call, wasn't it, Mark?
I absolutely agree. I think it's you. I think we were right to keep going with him. I mean, there was a point where Glasner had him playing us right back, I think, while Munoz was out.
That's right.
I think that was his best game, actually.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't going to work. And you're in a position, you're like a gambler that's lost a lot of money, and you keep going to try and win it back. And I think we were in that position. And I think the awful thing is that the best course of action is to go, this hasn't worked, and now we're going to swap him for someone from Everton. And that's going to be better, isn't it?
I mean, I would say, speaking as a Palace fan, I would say that the bookmakers will not be taking odds on a Brennan Johnson goal this weekend. Would it not be the most Palace thing ever? Johnson! Oh, I say,
It's third.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Maybe, but I mean, I don't know. Were we doing anything wrong, do you think? I mean, I don't know. Glasner's pretty smart tactically. He couldn't get it to work.
I don't think we did anything. I do not think we did anything wrong. The only thing I've ever heard from Spurs fans, and I missed, I think he was more like more like a fox in the box. Low crosses come in, he's there to. Actually, if you watch his goals, someone shared like a montage of his goals, not in a Palace shirt, I hasten to add. And it is all very much he's arriving late, tapping him in. He's arriving late, and he never. I mean, I'm possibly being very kind here, but he never really played in that sort of role at Palace. But then again, he was never going to play up front because you've got Mateta, you've got Jurgen Strand-Larsen, you've got Eddie Nketiah, and it wasn't quite working when he's playing as a cam. And as Mark says, he probably had his best games when he was covering for Munoz. Unfortunately, it's just one of those things. The planets didn't align.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose. Well, did we talk about this before? Sorloth. It sort of brings to mind. Now, Sorloth, it wasn't the same amount of money, but Sorloth, we tried with him, and then he was then he missed a sitter, didn't he, in the FA Cup, and it was so frustrating. And now he gets a lot of goals. I don't know. There could be any number of reasons for it, but if you just don't, something to do with the style of play, it could be just that he's not settled. It could be that he doesn't like being this far south.
It's true. So it's true. Sometimes with just certain players.
For Norway, I mean, I think only Palace fans, when Sorloth and Ireland were clean through, ready to go 2-0 up and quite possibly knock us out of the World Cup, only Palace fans just thought, we're all right.
Yeah.
And daylight 5-a-side, and I was clear. All you had to do was pass it to me. I have the world's best strong.
Mark, we lost you there. Mark went on such a rant. Are you talking to me? Can't hear you. Still can't hear you. No. Can you hear me? Yeah, it's completely mute here. I think if we go to don't worry, go back to audio settings, and I think that might do it. Speakers. take it. Volumes up on the computer. Still can't hear anything. So did the phone ringing, did that go through your computer speakers or something? Ah. What if you turn the Bluetooth off your phone? That might do it, you know? No. Don't worry. Don't worry. Shall we stop this and we'll start another one? Right, it might take a few minutes because it'll have to save this episode, okay? Right, cool.
Intermission!
Oh my God.
We've just done the most amazing 25 minutes. Hilarious, philosophical, and I really would, I think probably would have shaken the foundations of football.
I would say we probably cracked the meaning of life itself. So what happened was, through no fault of anyone, but somebody phoned Mark. Let's not make Elliot the whipping boy of this podcast, but it was Elliot. Elliot phoned Mark. It did something to his speakers. We had to stop the podcast. We had to save the file. We had to restart the episode. Mark, I'm not joking. All I've been saying to myself for the past few days is remember to press record. Remember to press record. And so we started we're sort of like wrapping up because we've got loads from that first section. Mark got to a bit about Alexander Sorloth. That's when Elliot phoned. But we've been going probably Mark's right, maybe a good 20 minutes. And then I've just looked and on this second bit, neither of us have pressed record.
Yeah. Well,
it's a bit like, was it New Order with Blue Monday? They insist that the original version of Blue Monday blows the version that we all know. They say that there's a lost version because they did the equivalent of not pressing record or something.
I wonder if I was a religious soul, I might be saying that this is the good Lord is suggesting that we're not the right people to be doing a podcast.
No, well, do you know what I will say this. I think the Lord might have been saying, guys, you already had more than enough.
Let's see if we could just recap it.
The good Lord. Well, what happened was the first episode, me and Mark went, surely you just try to do 30 minutes. And then what we've done, Mark, we've been going for over an hour already, I think.
Jesus Christ.
Well,
hang on. What we're talking about. So players that go into positions that they're not suited for, players that play for a club, and then there are many players that then players of certain followers of fans of certain clubs will go, they were useless. Yeah, but Johan Cruyff, there'll be probably Johan Cruyff probably had half a season with Lincoln City. He's shit. He's fucking get back to Holland. You fucking useless.
Stop doing that. Stop doing that fucking turn.
Whizzling around on your fucking pirouette and whatever it is.
Why are you wearing number 14? Wear 1 to 11.
Number 14. That was Billy Exmouth was number 14, legend at his club.
Now that was a player. He wasn't doing that Ponzi turn every 2 minutes. Definitely.
There was a player when I did the in-town show in Berwick. A bloke told me that there was one, I can't remember his name. He said there was one player at Berwick for Berwick Rangers, and he said the bloke sat next to him as this player come out. He went, what was his name? I don't know. Let's say his name was Filbert. Filbert, you're shit. And your dad's chips are shit as well. His dad obviously ran a chip shop in the town.
Mate, there's a mate of mine who's a Sunderland fan, and this is brutal. Sunderland home match, and so we're going back 20 plus years, and it's when, do you remember Mickey Gray used to play? He's a local lad, played for Sunderland. Now, do you remember Daniel Dicchio, who was he was a centre forward, and let's just say he was more prolific at some clubs than others, right? And for whatever reason at Sunderland, maybe he didn't quite set it on, Anyway, so the players are warming up, and Michael Gray must have been a sub at this time, and him and Dicchio are warming up, and I'm sorry to anyone from the northeast, but a Sunderland fan shouts, "Hey, Mickey Gray, Mickey Gray, give us a wave!" And Mickey Gray and Ditcho turn around to this fan, and they both wave, and the fan goes, "Not you, Ditcho."
I don't even want to receive your wave.
Oh my God!
No. So I don't think we've ever been like that, have we? But
well, I mean,
have we? I don't
yeah.
think we've been.
That's what still haunts me is that there were not many. Some Palace fans booed Kamada at the start, you know.
Booed him.
Yeah, not many.
I know there was people who didn't. All right.
There was
I
a small. I think there was a small minority, and that is not the fact that I can remember it says how un-Palace that is, because that is just not. Because when he was, I mean, that is something that I think about way too much. That is like the forefront of my mind more than like most things to do with like my actual private life. And when he like he was going to leave this summer, I thought I bet Daichi still remembers that game where 8 people booed or whatever. So when he signed that contract extension, I was like, oh, thank God he was the bigger man. But no, I would say generally speaking, we don't do stuff like that.
Well, I think that is what we going back to the discussion that only you and me were having between ourselves. But it's I think it's such a critical at this time of the season, as we're saying this, hours before it starts for Palace. I think that it is so critical to be on board with the way the club's been run the last 14 years or so, which is that this is a remarkable sort of run we're on, and there are way bigger clubs than us that have been not in the Premier League or barely in the Premier League during that time. Birmingham, Sheffield Wednesday, all of that time. You were talking about Norwich, and I think that a realistic ambition doesn't mean no ambitions, like witnessed the last 2 years, but it means an ambition that is realisable. An academy, a newsstand, an FA Cup, a European run, and so on, the Charity Shield, having a good shout at beating the very top teams. And for a club our size, I think it's been brilliant. And so I think we're all sort of deep down, we're aware, like, there's no guarantee this goes on forever. And we're 7th. I looked up all the bookies' odds. There are 6 teams who are lower odds than us for being relegated. So that's not too bad.
It's fantastic. And as we said in the private conversation that no one else will ever hear, I just think I'd never want to fall out with anyone, but you do think that maybe it's fans that don't go to games, I don't know, but some fans probably do need to be more appreciative of the the Parishes, the Browetts, and so on, the guys that saved the club and then have got the club made the decisions to get the club to where we're at now. It is phenomenal, isn't it?
Well, and careful what you wish for, because we could end up. You could get there. You're probably not going to happen now, but the one way it could have happened would have been some huge conglomerate comes in, or a nation state, or China decides to buy us. Well, not even Saudis now, because I think they've given up on that sort of thing. With the
Live golf
hasn't worked, and the golf hasn't worked for them.
I don't understand this phrase sports washing, and maybe I'm missing something here. But who on earth was going to watch Live Golf and go, do you know what? I actually think they're all right. I think that sound. What's going on there? Apart from the golf is so good that I've forgotten some of these human rights atrocities.
Well, yeah. If Kim Jong-un was to buy us, though, and we got a couple of £100 million, and suddenly we had De Bruyne, or I don't know, whoever it was, Jamal playing up front, we'd all be singing, wouldn't we?
You think if he took over, we signed Lamine Yamal, and so 1 to 11, like Harlem Globetrotters levels of megastars, do you think we'd all be like, do you know what? I actually think he's misunderstood.
Well, the Chelsea fans did, didn't they? When
They did.
Abramovich
They did.
had to
Yeah.
go when the invasion of Ukraine happened. I mean, I'm only going by the phone-ins and stuff. I say out of order. They're having it to people who clearly had not probably was barely aware of where Russia was. He's done. Why are they having a go at him? It's not fair. All right, he's invaded somewhere or something, but that's not. It's not right. And yeah, they really weren't bothered.
They all drink the Kool-Aid, don't they?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, one thing. I mean, I know I keep saying.
I think we'd be better than that.
I'd like to think so, because also you see it with Forest fans with, and look, I don't want to get sued, but you do see it with Forest fans with Marianakis, don't you? Because
well, this should be our last subject. We can't not have this. So, Marinakis, I mean, I'm sure people have followed this to some degree. There is a legal claim being made against Palace on account of the "Fuck Marinakis" song that we were singing all last year, and I mean, there's a number of things about this. First of all, legally, it's not my area of expertise, but if a club can be sued for defamation because the singing of its fans, that's quite a legal precedent, isn't it? I mean, to start with, I would imagine that Posh Spice would end up in court having to take the stand to say that she didn't necessarily take it up the arse, and therefore all the fans.
I thought, how's Mark going to talk around this? No, he's just going to say the actual.
All the fans that were singing it were slandering her, and all those clubs whose fans could be proven to have sung it were going to be sued for quite a lot.
Well, I think it was I think it's the banner, though, isn't it?
It was the banner that's really done it. Yeah,
I think so. But I mean, I'm just.
Luckily, I don't
Where
think the Olsons ever did a Posh Spice.
Where I'm at with. Are you not a bit disappointed? Because for me, I'm 48. So when I think of Forest, and I know you're the same. We think of traditionally pre-Marinakis. I think of Brian Clough, Stuart Pearce, Steve Chettle, Ian Lone, Nigel Clough. I used to have. There's that amazing documentary, I Believe in Miracles. It's Peter Taylor, the Forest Peter Taylor, not the Palace Peter Taylor.
Yeah.
Really, I'm not a Forest fan, but I've got such warm memories and such warm feelings towards that club. And I'm sort of so disappointed in their fans, really. But it comes back to the Chelsea fans of the Abramovich. It's like they've all drunk the Kool-Aid. I wonder if and when Marinakis leaves, I suspect some of them will sort of like snap out of it a bit, because I find it bizarre. I mean, surely this whole legal thing, it's surely unnecessary.
It's really, it's clearly not going to go anywhere, is it? Imagine if you had to go through, what a legal precedent that would be. And you had to go through every chant or even banners that have been held up.
Absolutely. I mean, think of some of the players. You chanted, "You fat bastard," and we're having to look at their BMI on a chart in court.
I put it to you, leader of the Exeter Ultras, that the Plymouth centre forward, who you referred to as a fat bastard, was indeed only 3 pounds heavier than the correct and suggested weight at the time that he was playing in what I believe you consider to be local rival derby match.
And as has been discussed, he is simply big boned. Yeah.
So, I mean, I think we'll all look forward to that. We were fined, weren't we? Every time we sang it, I think we were fined.
What?
I think we have been fined.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and of course UEFA now against Inventino are looking like we all like you. So now, fuck you, UEFA, but with the caveat that they are at least better than Infantino. We have to sing that.
I think it will catch on next season. Right, Mark, I think what we should do for every episode is predict. I think we've got to predict. So give us your prediction for Everton.
Oh, I'm so sorry. 2-1 to them.
Do you think so?
To the yeah.
So what's going to happen here is that Mark is going to go head and I will go heart every time. And I predict that Mark will wipe the floor with me because I'm going to go 1-0 Palace and I'm going to go for McNeil scoring the goal.
Okay.
May I just say that I've never got...
That would also be politically quite poignant as well, given the allegiances of the new Prime Minister.
Yes. I've never got a prediction right in my life, by the way. Just like that. Absolutely clear. I'm not a gambling man, but if I put £1 on a horse at the Grand National, I'm already sending my condolences to the trainer. Well, look, good luck to me editing this down. So hang on. I mean, what you think? We think 35, 40 minutes ideally.
Yeah, I think. Well, people should let us know.
Let us know. By the way, we asked for any. We asked you to email in the team at alwaysbecomedy.com. Mate, the only comments we were getting were like DMs, and it was lovely. But people going, "Love the pod." So it was like, okay. I mean, thank you.
Yeah, but please do let us know what you think, and because I don't know. Do we know? You know more than me. I don't know.
Neither of us know nothing. That's part of the appeal. Thank you, Mark. Very grateful. I'm going to get back in the
subject on which you can honestly do a podcast, and the appeal of it is that you actually don't know what you're talking about. I can't imagine that there's a biochemist's podcast where people go, well, the way I see it is that sulfur is that a metal or not? Anyway, I can't remember. Who was it who discovered tin? No, not tin. What's the other one? Anyway, we're going to be talking about metals and metallurgy and biochemistry every week. Please send us in your favourite elements.
Oh, by the way, on the previous episode, we couldn't remember Chaddy Riyadh, right? I'm going to let Mark, I've not told you this. I had to take the pause out. It took us about 10 seconds to remember. So when you're listening back to it, you're thinking, oh yeah, that was fine. Yeah, they forgot him a little bit. But the two of us were like,
oh no. Well, in my case, that's ignorance squared with dementia. I mean, by the end of this season, my contributions will be, do we like Crystal Palace? What way is the ground?
The fact that I called the new signing the lad from Israel, like sort of thing my granddad would have done. Anyway, look, lots of love. Fingers crossed for the weekend. Mark, I'll be WhatsApping you in about 10 seconds. But look, thanks a lot. Any share? Oh shit! I've done the classic thing, mate. We've got to. What we've got to do is we've got to say like and subscribe and all that.
Oh right. So yeah. If you're with us, don't forget, like, subscribe, add reviews. It's the only thing that keeps us all going. And in this modern world, that's what we have to do. So just leave it down in the link in the bio of the WhatsApp of the TikTok.
Thanks a lot, guys. See you soon. Mark, God bless you. Take care, pal. Speak soon.
Cheers.